South Africa remains in suspense ahead of the expected mass demonstrations on the 30th of June. Civic organizations like the March and March movement have given undocumented foreign migrants until next week on Tuesday to leave the country. Government says it has plans in place to handle the situation and has also sternly cautioned citizens not to take the law into their own hands, but to allow law enforcement to do their jobs. Let's take a look. Well, let's speak to our reporter Ayanda right now, tracking developments around the situation right now. Of course, as the 30th June deadline looms. Ayanda, give us a sense of the situation where you are right now.
Thanks, a very good afternoon to our viewers. And the visuals that you're seeing right now in Santa is live visuals from the site. Hello.
I think you come beside because I want to do so.
This is where the thousands and thousands of displaced Malawian nationals are waiting to be processed and repatriated back home to Malawi. We've been here now for the past 2 hours, and despite what we know, officials telling us repeatedly that they are working around the clock 24 hours to ensure that they process these Malawian nationals as quickly as possible, but these queues still keep growing. We've been seeing quite a number of buses that have already left here today, but if you look at these visuals, if you look at these numbers of people that are still waiting in the queues, still waiting to be processed, it does appear that the deadlines that the officials had given themselves, with the hope that after 14 days they were going to then be able to close down this temporary site, that they might not be able to achieve that. Just outside of this site as well, that they're coming around into the CBD, we are seeing more Malawian nationals arriving in buses and taxis, trying to get access into this particular site. And of course, you'd see that we are on site, and that's because the members of the media have not been allowed to gain entry inside this particular site, and so that is why we are reporting just from outside. But we are able, from our vantage point, just to see exactly what is happening inside, and this process of the processing of the Malawian nationals. The numbers currently stand at over 20,000 Malawian nationals have now been repatriated back to Malawi. But looking at these numbers, we can see that it's possibly going to be several more thousands of people that are still going to be repatriated back home. And of course, in Atlanta, the authorities are working quite fast against the deadline of the 30th of June, which, as we know, is the date that civil movement who have been calling for undocumented foreign nationals to leave the country. We are expecting mass demonstrations also here, especially here in the eThekwini metro on Tuesday the 30th. And of course, the authorities were trying to ensure that come that date, they've at least been able to process as many people as possible. Of course, given this location as well, we're still unsure as to where the march is going to go in terms of this route, but we know that the authorities will be working to ensure that come the 30th, if this situation is still the same here, that they will try to ensure that the marches then do not come this way. Of course, there is a heavy police presence as well. You can see inside, this area is secure, and this is to ensure the safety of the officials that are here and the safety of the Malawian nationals.
Reporter Ayanda Mhlongo coming to us from Durban this time. Of course, this is at the transit site where a number of foreign nationals are waiting to make their way into buses returning home. Ayanda, we just lost you for a moment there, but you were still telling us about the situation on the ground. Perhaps continue where you left off.
Yes, Lantla, I was pointing out to the levels of security, which I think are going to be quite important. Inside the site, it is secure, and this is to ensure that it protects the Malawian nationals that are here, and of course, all the officials. Police are working on a 24-hour rotation to ensure that the people inside here, in fact, there is also very strict access or controls. Even ourselves as members of the media, we are not allowed inside the site when we are not guided by any of those that are managing the site. And I'm going to try here and ask my colleague Raymond Bele. This is a bit of a difficult one, but we're trying, obviously, under the circumstances, just through the fence. I now have Mr. Mufti Sulemana. Mr. Mufti Sulemana is a representative of the Malawian High Commission, and I do apologize, but this is the only way we are able to speak to him. Mr. Mufti, I know you're laughing at me. I have to try and speak to you, even if it is through this fence. And possibly if you can just speak to us about the numbers. 2 days ago, we were speaking about over 20,000 Malawian nationals that have been repatriated. Speak to us now in terms of today. What are the latest numbers?
The latest numbers today, it comes like we managed to do 14 buses. So as you see me this side, I was signing for that bus there for a woman. So that one is the third for a woman that has to be repatriated. So through that, as you know, that each and every bus, it is 66 people, or either the big ones is 76 people. So we managed to send 14 buses, and that will be the 15th ones today in this camp.
Yeah, and of course I'm just looking at the conditions here. There are small babies that are running around. Of course, people are having to sleep outside in the open. You're simply just unable to process these numbers as quickly as possible, yet the conditions also seem to be deteriorating.
Yes, that is true. The children are still running around, but without being lost any child inside here. That is what the appreciation of it. The second issue is that the same children that you find, some of their mothers are sleeping here outside, waiting for the queues, as that for that queue there is getting ready to go for it, inshallah, so that any time they can be able to be repatriated.
The other concern is that deadline of the 30th, Mr. Sulemana, of course, and I know that your authorities were trying to work as fast as you can to ensure that you process as many people before the 30th of June. It doesn't look like you'll be able to meet that particular time frames, although the center, I know, the site is going to be open until next Sunday. Well, that was according to the eThekwini officials.
Correctly. The deadline, I don't think that there is any deadline that given to the officials. Like this is the deadline that you have to be finished all completely. But I think the deadline is for themselves, the way how they were explaining things for the government to conduct. It wasn't the deadline for the people to get finished completely, because so far we are not calling the people are coming themselves. So if they are still coming, that is our challenge also. According to us as officials, since we started, it's supposed to be done by now, considering to the people that already we sent. So far they are still coming and coming and coming. So it is hard for us to meet that one day. So if the Pretoria spoke to Lilongwe, considering the deadline can be until on Sunday, so we appreciate on that until the people finish. And in that, if I can verify you to say all the buses that we have been sending, there is no other buses that came from that side. We're still sending new ones. So which means if there is, even to make, let's say, if there will be 18,000 people, once those buses are coming back, we will be able to repatriate all of them, inshallah.
Mr. Malani, thank you so much for your time. So always a pleasure speaking to you. I know you have a lot of work that you are dealing with here. Mr. Mufti Suleiman, of course, he is a representative of the Malawian High Commission, just speaking to us about the latest numbers, and that they're saying that today 14 buses have left at the site, and according to them, they are still going to, as long as people want to come to the site and are seeking assistance to return back home to Malawi, they will be here and remain here until they have processed every single person that wants to go home. That I'm going to leave it here for now.